Let's do this. Okay, so we're going to create our own character. And we were going to ask Twitch chat and Steam chat to help us out with this, but we thought that was a terrible idea. So we're going to let ModSphere take the reins with this.
Yeah, so I just hit randomize a few times and actually came across someone who's not a million miles away from me, so I guess I'll try and make me. I'm actually planning to keep this character and use it as my hardcore Iron Man whenever I eventually get around to playing it, so hopefully it'll come out all right.
Cool. So ModSphere, if you could just narrate what you're going through, we can sort of add anything else on the top.
Yep, sure. So gender and skin tone standard for every game at this point. Hopefully, I'm not quite that pale, but I'm definitely not tan. So around there, give or take. Might be being generous. He's already got my hair. Beautiful.
I think I've seen you do that move as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know how long I spent getting ready for this stream?
Did his hair and everything.
Beard somewhere more around there and shorter, so I'll try and find that in a minute. Or outfit wise. How long have you spent on your costumes in game, guys? As I've spent far too long on mine.
Very little time. I think I have the I can't remember the beachy outfit. I think I've had that for like the last 4 or 5 years or something like that. Back from the days of doing JMod stamping in the Lumbridge crater when we were doing Mad May. So yeah, I haven't changed it since then because I like it. And when it's terrible weather outside, it makes me feel sunny.
Yeah, there are two kind of
lovely
creators, aren't there? There are those that spend ages and those that just press randomize and just get it done. I'm definitely in the kind of spend ages and probably take too long to get into the game. Yeah, but this is something
I go around hunt the parts I want for my outfit, and I eventually get it perfect, and that's it. I'm not changing it after that for ages. If I get a new idea, and then I'll spend.
It's worth noting you can actually change if you don't like what you've got. You can go to Thessalia and Varrock and get this changed. So don't feel like you're locked in if you're playing for the first time.
Not just this as well. If you go to the makeover mage, you can change everything, including your gender. So you are absolutely not bound to stick with this. As far as not re-rolling ults, that you can just change your character and be who you want to be at any given point.
Absolutely.
So there's a really important point to note when we're going through the character creation. Part of the kind of your first RuneScape experience is that there are different types of different types of player that you can be. So you can be a normal player and you can experience RuneScape as everybody else does, or you can be an Iron Man or a hardcore Iron Man. And they're very important. Like I think there's been a growing community of Iron Man players that have joined the game, and it's kind of RuneScape, but a little bit more challenging. You have to be very self-sufficient. You're not allowed to engage or trade with other players. You're not allowed to gain any kind of benefits from anything like a treasure hunt or anything like that, which is our ability, sort of our daily. You get a daily key in order to be able to get some rewards. You're not able to do that as an Iron Man. And also, you are not able to engage with the Grand Exchange, which is a kind of a player, I suppose, a player-dictated stock market to a certain extent. So you're not allowed to buy anything off of have any other player interaction, essentially, apart from talking to other players. Yeah. So you can be an Iron Man, or if that's not hard enough for you, you can be a hardcore Iron Man.
Yeah, you can play with other players because you can play in dungeons with other Iron Men at least. I think you can play with normal players as well and some boss fights as well. But your loot will be exclusive to you. You can't then trade it off with other people. Likewise, they can't give you anything that's going to give you an advantage. And it's hardcore Iron Man. You have hardcore status until you lose it by dying, at which point you'll be reverted to normal Iron Man. And you'll lose your shiny emblem next to your name that says I'm doing things the hard way.
And then you get knocked down to Iron Man earlier, though.
Yeah. This goes back to my point earlier, though, about you don't need to do group content. You can play this game pretty much entirely solo if you want to.
Yeah, and Iron Man's a great way of being able to do that. And hardcore Iron Man is something that I have never tried, and I don't think I would be very good at. I like talking and engaging with other players, and perhaps taking the easy route. But if you are wanting that challenge, it is kind of, I suppose, the purist's way of playing RuneScape. What's your name that you've got, ModSphere, from the randoms?
Well,
go on, randomize it. Randomize it. Go on.
You can't even try and get what I want. No.
There we go. Less wise. There we go. Yes. Couldn't have written it any better.
Sure. Cool. This option actually, just quickly, is an important one because this is whether or not you want to play this tutorial effectively. It's how recently you've played the game and how well informed you are. So if you are moving on and making a new account on Steam, you don't have to play the tutorial again. If you know what you're doing.
Yep. So we won't be going over the tutorial today, guys, because it might take a while. So we will allow you to enjoy that at your own convenience. What we wanted to do today is just kind of show you what the early game experience looks like as a new player, and give you a little bit of some tips and tricks, particularly when it comes to UI and interfaces as to what you need to do and how you need to do it. So I know, Mod Osborne, you've been doing a little bit of work with this in the kind of the last couple of months or so. So I don't know, maybe if you want to take the lead with some of this stuff and want to kind of highlight a few bits and pieces that might be worth noting for new players.
Yeah,
follow along.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, can do. Yeah, we just recently set up a CXP team, semi-recent, past kind of year or so, that is dedicated to just improving the opening game experience. And that means making it a bit more seamless for everybody who might be coming in as completely new players or returning. So what you might notice is that if you've been away for a while, or if you're new, that there's a lot of interface components. So it's probably worth tracking on the UI first. Sorry, our user interface, as we call it. So across the bottom right hand, you've got our different individual stones for interacting with the game. Probably, oh, there we go. So the ones that you'll be using kind of most regularly. Oh, we've already got followers, have we? Nice. So we're developing some followers as we play through. So the first thing you'll have there is the bag. So opening up your backpack. This is kind of how you interact so much with the world. You'll be getting items, like countless items from your skilling. A lot of the game is focused on gathering and manufacturing. So you'll be interacting with kind of chopping trees, getting logs, then using the logs to make fires, using those fires to cook food. So the in and outs of your inventory is going to be is pretty important. And then you've got your worn inventory, or the equip screen, whatever you want to call it. And this kind of presents your ragdoll of what you're wearing at any given time and wielding. You've got a few buttons across the bottom so you can see what you'll keep on death, how much value your everything is, how much it weighs. The death screen, don't worry too much. Death in RuneScape is...
Death's great.
This might imply that we are somewhat of a death-heavy game, but what we have is we have a ring-fenced area to the north called the Wilderness, which is where we have our player versus player content, where we have our kind of unsafe death. There we go. So just be wary. There'll be warnings if you try to skip over the Wilderness wall. But yes. And then
if anybody says they're going to be, they want to double your money and just follow them to the Wilderness, then do not take them up on that offer.
Scamming lures. It'll probably be a JMod. Then you've got the stats screen, which is the bar to the right of the worn equipment on that tab that we have over to the right. So this is the home of. You'll probably be scanning this like 90% of your time in RuneScape. This is how you progress in the game. You've got all of your skills there. The newest one at the bottom being archaeology. You start off at 1, unless you're in Constitution. And then you're just working up to 99 and in some cases 120. One of the joys of RuneScape is just that, as you can see from the skill advanced guide that Mod Spear has opened up here, is there's something pretty much to unlock at every level in each skill. Kind of the joy of RuneScape is that leveling up, seeing what you've gained, seeing if what you've gained is worth folding into how you play the game, and then go again, and you'll probably be better at doing that skill thanks to what you've just unlocked. So yeah, you've got loads there. I think our players love to guess what the skills are from the icons. So you could probably do that as well. A bit of that. Go on, JD.
No, I was going to say there have been some very funny examples of when escapers have asked their other halves or friends. They've given them skill icons and asked them what skills they might be. I think it was a trend 2 or 3 years ago, and that was always quite funny. But I think by and large, I think the icons do a decent job of describing what the skill is. So,
and to be honest, sometimes it's better than the skill that's there. I'd love to do dog riding rather than summoning, but we have summoning. And then we've got questing. I don't know if it's. Oh, look at the screen. So I think this is beautiful. This just shows what the game is about. It's like everybody.
What we have is a really social I don't even know what world we're on.
They found this. This is good. A lot of world hoppers out there. So it's such a social experience. We've actually been to Berthorpe, which is one of the most communal areas. A lot of players come here to chat, to meet each other, to like drop downs, kind of skilling kind of nodes and participate in those with each other. And here we have the world of RuneScape. So you'll have a lot of players here who have unlocked pets. You see the Shadow Drake there. So that's a creature that somebody has unlocked. You've got people using teleports or emotes. Those constellations kind of rest emotes and things like that. We've got our kind
that's
of
the 15-year
anniversary emote.
Yeah. Isn't it? Yeah,
that's right.
The giant floating thing with it's called the Stone of Jazz, and we're using it as a disco ball. So again, a little bit of subversive humour there.
Yeah. So yeah, we have a wide-ranging art style. At the moment, a lot of players are showing off the kind of more vibrant and particle-driven outfits, but there's medieval fantasy in there too. But everybody's come here to watch, and that's good. It's a very welcoming atmosphere, and one of the things I most enjoy looking forward to
horrifying.
is probably more Shawnee. But yeah, it's what was I going to say? It's the communal aspect is great. You'll have a lot of people trading, and to be honest, I think a lot of our players have been waiting for the option to kind of mentor other people. So just chat to other people in the world, like ask them for help, ask them for free stuff blocks, etc. Maybe but everybody's going to be very happy to see new Steam players and to integrate them into the world.
Absolutely. So we've got some other interfaces on there. Yeah, let's talk about the other interfaces, the action bars, the chat interface, and then we'll go into a little bit of a world tour quickly.
Yeah. So we have an action bar up at the moment. So I think you've got one of the stock action bars. Is that right, Modspear?
This is literally a fresh character, so this is whatever the game.
Straight off the boat. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll swap over to my real character in a minute, and I'll be able to make a lot more sense of it.
Yeah. So what is showcased within this is these are combat abilities. If you went around for Evolution of Combat, what this means is that you can manually activate these. They will do some form of attack. We have basics, thresholds, and ultimates, and they take up a certain amount of an adrenaline bar, and you generate more adrenaline as you participate in combat. And actually, you'll be gaining more abilities to kind of fit into these slots as you progress through the game and go through the combat levels, or maybe through questing as well. Some of them are kind of quest unlocks. But you have options, so you can play.
As well.
Yeah, that's true. You get some kind of codices and things like that. We'll give you these as unlocks. But it's up to you how you handle it. Maybe you can do some kind of hybrid of this. You can either trigger them manually, so there are keybinds for each of those. And so you're basically determining how you use your adrenaline bar. It's very strategic, because obviously your adrenaline would diminish and grow over the combat state of combat. Or you can just put it into a revolution state. And what it will do is it will play choose the abilities that it thinks are the best for that given moment. And you can just kind of kick back a little bit. A lot of players, when they're fighting Slayer or fighting mobs, will go into this state, and that's absolutely fine. And some are even able to take down the biggest bosses in our game in Revolution. But as we said earlier, there's Legacy as well. If you just want to go back into a more recognisable state, if you're around 2013, 2012 or before then you can go into the settings here, trigger Legacy combat. And if you were worried about the interface as well,
go on, click it.
You'll never be able to get out. And there you go. You're working very simply. Click, and fight, and let it go. You'll probably be working with special attacks on individual weapons, maybe switching out weapons at certain times. So the strategy changes a bit. We've done what we can to try to give them parity, so they're reasonably even.
Yeah, I think it probably is. Oh, sorry, I was going to say, Models, it's probably fair to say that it would be worth, if nothing else, trying out something like Revolution, because I think if we're talking about sort of combat styles and whatnot, Legacy is generally accepted as a kind of a good entry point. In order to take on sort of the highest of the high bosses, you probably will want to be using the flexibility that comes with full manual or with Revolution.
Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted.
No, I was just going to say, in terms of Legacy, it's not only combat that we put in the kind of Legacy alternative. If you are struggling to kind of comprehend the interface, and you're used to kind of those simple stones on the right-hand side that a lot of players had from 10, 15 years ago, we also have Legacy interfaces. and that will bring back the brown and the stonework, so you can do that. But we've actually got a hugely customizable UI. That can cause problems, obviously, if you're looking to emulate your favorite streamer or generate it yourself. That's kind of, you can get lost in the rabbit hole a little bit. But there are some simple default user setups you can have. I don't know where that burp came from. There's some simple user interfaces as stock, as default, that you can just jump into, and they should give you everything you need.
Lovely. Cool. Okay. Yeah, I think that's that will be a really big point for me to highlight. I think is that have a look around the settings and have a look around the UI. Make sure you feel like you're comfortable with what you're doing before you go sort of too deep into things. I think there is a lot to be said for sort of making sure that you've got everything how you want it to be. The graphic settings all sorted, the audio settings all sorted. As you can hear, we've got audio on, but if you don't want to hear burping every 5 seconds, then you might want to turn it off or turn the volume down, for instance. So. But I mean, we'll talk about audio when we come to the questing section, actually. So we will be championing the audio a little bit later on. But you can customize an awful lot of stuff. So try and find out what works best for you, because that's, I think, a really good way of being able to get yourself acclimatized to the game.
Our little settings bar has its own settings menu. That's how much you can customize. Like, I've just taken off all the buttons from there.
I heard you like settings. So we put some settings on the settings, and
that's amazing.
Okay, guys. Oh, sorry, Modos, when you look like you wanted to say something.
No, that's fine. Yeah, we're going to do more work on settings to make it a bit more kind of, you know, whenever you go into like Windows, when you've got the basics and the advanced, we're going to do more work there to make it a bit more friendly to players, and that will come in over time. But I think it's good to go to chat. We go to chat and friends next.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we're on global at the moment, so this is all chat. So you can see everybody's chatting to everybody, filling up that screen. But you have a number of filters across the top that can just kind of determine what you see at any given time, and it's very manual. You get to determine that yourself. So you can have private chats with individuals. You can cut it down to just your friends. You can have clan chats as well. So, I mean, really, you are filtering it to what you want. You could even just have messages. There too.
Yeah, there's also an option in each of those chats as well. If you're saying clan chat, but you still want important game messages to show up, you can have those still show up in clan chat, or you can have clan chat plus everything, but it'll just cut out other players. It's again, it's exactly how you want to play, what you want to have.
Yeah, don't necessarily have to dive into it right now. You'll start with global. If you feel like it's getting a bit noisy, then you have the ability to tune it down a little bit. But the joy of global means that you can talk to people, you can ask them for help. They will be more than willing to help. We're kind of used to this over the years, they're into the various options.
Cool. Okay, so we've got about 10 minutes left of this section. Should we go and find some places? Should we go and explore some locations?
Right. In that case,
do a little world tour.
Other characters, so I can actually get around.
So this is Mod Spear's way of being like, oh crap, I need to get onto a new character. What can I do to avoid that screen? Let's bring us back up onto the big screen.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about some of the places you might want to experience and go and explore. We're going to touch on a couple of free-to-play places, but we're also going to touch on a couple of the members' locations as well. Modelsman, where's your favourite place in Gielinor?
Oh my gosh, that is huge. I try not to go for like the most modern of them all. I love Elf City. There's a lot of I think that's because you've worked so hard to get there. I can't think of any single location in RuneScape whereby you've gone through so many quests and so many challenges to unlock this city yourself, and you've got to walk up this winding area to get there. And this is a place that you've effectively grown from seeds yourself, crystal seeds yourself. That's wonderful, and it's got this kind of very pure crystalline look to it. It's great.
Oh. And what on earth has happened there, Mod Spear?
I know what's going on. It's just taking a little while to get back to it, apparently. My controller's not working properly.
So this is Elf City. As you see,
this is meant to be Lumbridge, but it's not zooming the camera back down there. Oh no, it actually has. Oh, there we go. That's probably why.
Oh my word! Have you free cammed?
What?
Yeah. I was going to do this. The controller disconnected.
I like.
Oh, quality! I've spent so long planning.
You tried to be snazzy.
Exactly where to stand.
I love the descent though. It feels very cinematic. Let's go do that again, shall we?
I'm going to do it properly this time.
Down again. Okay. So this is Lumbridge. Take 2.
This is how we should start every time. This is great.
That's why I wanted to start on this account, not on the new character. But
that is beautiful. That is beautiful. Apologies to anybody who does get motion sickness. We will be doing this a few times over the course of the stream, so just to give you a bit of prior warning. So this is Lumbridge. This is where it all begins with Hans, who is the I suppose the old. He's the oldest NPC, isn't he? Osborne, I believe. The first NPC that was created.
There are a number. Yeah, it is tough because obviously there were a lot of characters that were created at first. So obviously, Bob Axes and Duke Horatio, they all started as well. But he's the first character that the game loads, which is, a fact. For whatever reason.
So he will always be able to tell you how old your account is. So if you're logging back in after some time away and you want to see just how long that is, Hans will be able to tell you.
Yeah.
So Lumbridge is kind of where you might recognise.
Yeah, what I love about Lumbridge is it's the kind of bucolic start to the game. It's all about kind of downing dragons. Down here, you're kind of shearing sheep and making cakes. This is kind of a nice, sedate start to the game.
You can hear the music and the audio in the background as well. It's quite nice and chilled, and I'm starting to feel like I'm in a spa, which is fantastic. All right, should we move on to? Should we go to the Grand Exchange?
Yeah, I have to go through Varrock as well.
So one other thing that's really important to note here, and you just saw the interface crop up, is actually that there is something called a lodestone, which allows a lot more easy navigation through some of these places. Because as we said, it's a pretty big world. You have things like run energy that when they run out can be a little bit difficult to kind of maneuver your way around Gielinor. But we have these things called lodestones, which will, when they're unlocked in different cities, mean that you can use the lodestone network and teleport to anywhere you need to go, which is a lodestone essentially. So that's a really good tip if you're looking to go into game and you perhaps don't want to end up wasting all of your run energy while you don't have very high level agility to be able to kind of navigate your way around the game.
Unlocking lodestones, you unlock them when you get to them for most of them. You just need to be able to access that area, and then you should be able to activate the lodestone. Obviously, that means that some of them are quite hard to get to, because some of the areas are quite difficult to unlock, but other than that, they're quite straightforward.
There we go, and we are going to a place called the Grand Exchange, which we have mentioned already. But this is kind of the player. I can't really think of a better way of describing it. Sorry, Mod Osborne, I didn't catch that.
No, that's fine. So Grand Exchange is the hub of our player-driven economy. So what that means is, and you don't often get this in a lot of games, is that we're not the ones who are selling you a lot of the items in the game. Players will generate the items through whatever they do in the game, manufacturing, killing beasts, that kind of thing. And then they'll put them up for sale, and you'll be able to buy them. And the price of that is determined by you and the person you're buying from. How did that pop up? I love it. I love it.
I've had that built in for a while in case I need to enter bins and things.
Yeah, so these are the number of slots that you have to buy and sell. So you can come here and if you know that there's a particular sword that you can now use because you've unlocked their level to use it and you want to be the best at combat that you can be, then you come here, you type it in and you go buy it. So you'll spend a lot of time here.
Yeah, unless you're an Iron Man, in which case you will be doing all this yourself.
Yeah, you're booted.
So you can get anything on here pretty much that is tradable. There are a few untradeable items that you have in game, but the majority of which you can purchase on the Grand Exchange if you need to. It might be slightly more expensive to do it this way, but it's a bit more convenient to do it this way. Okay, shall we move over to a couple of members' places? We've got about 4 minutes. This is everybody's 4-minute warning. We can cram in another 2 places. Mod Osborne, where do you want to go?
Playroom Farm?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, go for it. Playroom Farm's a lovely choice.
Okay, and then we'll finish in Prifddinas.
Thank you. So, Playroom Farm was something we launched, oh gosh, about 2 years ago now. Was it really that long ago? Oh my gosh. And this allows you to have your own farm. We've got a number of places that are player-owned. This is something that we often do. So you can come here, it is yours, you can grow it, you can build it as you want to, that kind of thing. You've got a great farm. So as you can see, it's not necessarily just doing cows and sheep. We have dragons. So if you've ever had that fantasy of milking a dragon, this is your time.
Horses for courses and all that.
Exactly. You know, we don't judge.
Oh, we've poisoned food.
And this is because farming has been a skill. You know, this is kind of something that we do. Is farming has been around for 16 years, I think now. It's not as if we just leave that skill as it was 16 years ago, because we're a game that keeps on evolving. We go back to things and we master them and rework them. So farming, a lot of players didn't like how laid back it was and how you had to wait a long time for anything to happen. Now we've got player owned farm. We've added it in. You can do this from level 30 onwards. This can be farming for you if you want. And so yeah, you can go and rear chin chompers and get all the sorts of perks and shiny abilities and things like that on them. Trade them. Yeah. This is a new hub, and lots of players love it. We've actually expanded it into our new Dinosaur Island area, Anachronia.
Cool. All right, and let's finish quickly on Prifddinas, because there was a lot of desire for it in the chat, and obviously it's Mod Osborne's favourite place as well, as we will get to say goodbye to Mod Osborne in a couple of minutes as we go on to Steam.
Yeah, and then I go back to my self-isolation.
I mean, I shouldn't laugh, but...
it's fine. It's fine. Yeah. So this is, as I was saying before, this is unlocked after a huge quest line, the Elf quest line. After you've got 75 in a number of skills, so it's reasonably high level. But this will be like representative of your achievement, and it's a wonderful place that you've kind of grown from seed. It houses 8 families of the elves. Each family represents a couple of different skills, and a lot of players just stay here. It's a great place to be. You get a lot of crystal gear with some of the upgrade items.
Yeah, which is your reward for getting to 75 and everything, completing this long quest line. There's quite a few skilling methods here that are really kind of convenient and just beautifully laid out around the city, so it's a really nice place to kind of chill out and do some of the more casual activities to level up over time. Right here, these agility posts you can do once a day, and you can literally go and basically do Tai Chi just to raise your agility, and it is no stress involved. It's nice.
It's so chilled as well. Again, the audio is fantastic, I think, in the majority of the game, but also I think particularly in sort of areas like this where it gives you that real sense of like immersion and the sense of actually that you're in a living world where there are ambient noises and there are things that you can just sort of just lay back to almost, really, if you need to.
Burping sound.
The burping sound is back, which is lovely. My personal favourite.
Yeah, it's all lovely. It's all tranquil.
It's all fun and games until the Phantom Belcher comes along.
That's fine. That's the humour of RuneScape, right? We're all right with that.
Yeah, it's that kind of oxymoron of this amazing, beautiful place, then mixed with a person that is just literally burping to high heaven. So that's, again, if you need a better way to describe RuneScape, then that's it.